Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered what real strength looks like? Mastering your mind is not a motivational slogan, it is a necessity. In a world filled with chaos, distractions, opinions, and noise, your greatest asset isn't your talent, your connections, or even your education. It is your ability to control what goes on inside your own head. You cannot always control the circumstances around you, but you can control how you think, how you react, and how you choose to show up. That control is where all power begins. The mind is the most powerful tool you possess, yet it's the least trained by most people. From the moment you wake up, your brain is bombarded with input: social media, texts, emails, news, deadlines. If you're not intentional, your thoughts are being pulled in 1,000 directions before you've even had your first cup of coffee. And what happens when your thoughts are scattered? Your focus disappears. Your confidence wavers, you become reactive instead of proactive. That's what losing control of the mind looks like. It's like handing the steering wheel of your life to someone else and hoping for the best. But here's the truth. Your mind will either be your servant or your master. If you don't take control of it, it will control you. It will default to fear, insecurity, overthinking, and self-doubt. These patterns don't come from weakness. They come from lack of awareness. Most people never stop to notice how much their internal dialogue is shaping their external reality. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you live. I can't. I'm not ready. What if I fail? That loop runs constantly unless you interrupt it. Unless you train it, and yes, it can be trained. Just like the body can be conditioned through repetition, resistance, and discipline, so can the mind. It starts with stillness, creating space, not reacting to everything. Learning to sit with discomfort, that silence you avoid, that moment of pause before you speak or act, that is where mastery begins. It's in the pause that clarity lives, and clarity is everything, because when your mind is clear, your choices improve. When your choices improve, your life transforms. You stop making decisions out of panic and start acting from purpose. Mastering your mind doesn't mean never having fear. It means not allowing fear to decide for you. It doesn't mean ignoring emotion. It means not being ruled by it. Emotions are messengers, not masters. Let them inform you, not control you. That level of self-regulation takes strength, and that strength is built through consistency. Every time you resist a reactive impulse, every time you hold back from a toxic thought or comment, every time you refocus when distraction tempts you, you are training the mind to obey you, not betray you. Your environment won't always support that. People around you may live in survival mode, constantly comparing, complaining, reacting. The world often rewards outrage over discipline, but you have to choose differently. You have to make discipline louder than drama. You have to hold the line mentally when others are falling apart. That's real strength, not how loud you speak, but how steady your mind stays when everything shakes. And that doesn't mean you'll always feel confident. It means you act even when you don't. Mastery isn't about feeling ready. It's about being prepared, and preparation is mental. It's rehearsing success in your mind before it ever shows up in your reality. It's visualizing how you'll speak in the meeting, how you'll respond to criticism, how you'll recover from failure, because you will face all of those things. The question is, will you be ready? People think mental strength is about never breaking. No, it's about knowing how to bend. It's about resilience, recovery, and regulation. Can you reset quickly? Can you stay focused under pressure? Can you calm your mind when chaos is near? That's what separates amateurs from professionals, not just in careers but in life. And maybe the most important part of mastering your mind is this: knowing that thoughts are not facts. Just because your mind says you're not good enough doesn't make it true. Your mind is a storyteller, and if you don't take control of the narrative, it will keep repeating the one you were conditioned to believe. Mastery means rewriting that story, replacing fear with faith, replacing excuses with actions, replacing noise with focus. When you master your mind, you don't just improve your performance, you change your entire existence, because no matter what the world throws at you, you'll always have command over the one thing that truly matters: your response. And that, right there, is real power. Guarding your mouth is one of the most overlooked but powerful forms of discipline a person can develop. We live in a time where everyone has a platform, everyone has an opinion, and far too many people speak just to be heard, not to be understood. But true strength, real presence, comes not from how loud you are, but from knowing when to speak, how to speak, and just as importantly, when to stay silent. Your words are your weapon, your witness, and your legacy. Once spoken, they cannot be taken back, and in a world where so much is out of our control, our mouths are still entirely our own responsibility. Every time you speak, you're building something. Maybe it's trust. Maybe it's conflict. Maybe it's influence. Or maybe it's regret. Words create outcomes. They can open doors or close them. They can unite or divide. And yet, so many people speak without thinking. They use sarcasm like armor. They use anger like power. They speak from emotion instead of intention. But guarding your mouth doesn't mean being silent or passive. It means choosing words that serve your values, your goals, and your integrity. It means understanding the weight of what you say, because words don't just land, they linger. One of the greatest signs of emotional intelligence is the ability to pause before responding. It's in that pause that maturity lives. Not every opinion needs to be voiced. Not every insult deserves a comeback. Not every conversation requires your input, and sometimes silence speaks louder than any sentence you could form. When you guard your mouth, you don't lose power, you protect it. You keep control, you stay centered, because the moment you speak from anger, ego, or insecurity, you've handed your power over to the very thing you're reacting to. Have you ever watched someone destroy trust in seconds with a careless remark? Or watched respect fade because of constant complaining, gossip, or arrogance? It happens every day. People lose opportunities, relationships, and credibility not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they couldn't control what came out of their mouths. One sentence, one slip, one selfish outburst, and everything changes. That's the power words hold, and when you understand that, you start treating them like currency. You don't waste them, you don't throw them around. You use them with purpose. Guarding your mouth also means protecting your peace. That means walking away from toxic conversations. It means refusing to feed gossip, refusing to match disrespect with more disrespect. It means choosing dignity over drama. It takes far more strength to walk away in silence than to scream for attention. Anyone can react. Anyone can curse, yell, rant, and post. But restraint, that's rare. And rare is what earns respect. Your silence can be a strategy. Your calm can be your weapon. And your voice, when used with precision, can cut through chaos like a blade. The words you choose not only affect others, they shape how you see yourself. Constant complaining rewires your brain to look for problems. Negative self-talk reinforces limitation, but disciplined speech, affirming, honest, constructive speech shapes confidence. It trains your mind to focus on solutions instead of problems. You don't just speak what you feel, you begin to feel what you speak. That's why people who constantly use victim language stay stuck, and that's why people who speak with clarity, ownership, and vision start to rise. You are literally building your reality with your words, so why would you not guard that power? And guarding your mouth doesn't mean walking on eggshells or living in fear of saying the wrong thing. It means being mindful. It means asking, is this helpful? Is this necessary? Is this coming from strength or weakness? It's about filtering the impulse and expressing the truth with grace, because truth without compassion can wound, and silence without confidence can shrink you. But when you blend awareness with authenticity, you begin to speak in a way that lifts people, elevates conversations, and moves things forward. In the end, how you speak tells the world who you are. Your words echo long after you leave the room. People may forget your achievements, but they'll remember how you made them feel, and most of that comes from the things you said or didn't say, so guard your mouth. Not because you're afraid to speak, but because you respect your voice too much to waste it. Every word is a choice. Choose power, choose purpose, choose discipline. Managing your money is more than just budgeting and saving. It's about taking full ownership of your life. Financial control is emotional control. It is a mirror reflecting how disciplined, thoughtful, and future-focused you really are. Too many people treat money like a short-term tool for comfort or status, but real financial strength lies in how well you manage it when no one's watching, when no one's applauding, and when temptation is at its peak. Money doesn't just respond to how much you earn, it responds to how well you think. It begins with awareness. Do you know where your money goes, or does it just disappear? Most people don't have a money problem. They have a management problem. They aren't broke because they don't make enough. They're broke because they're not intentional. Every dollar has a job. It either works for you or works against you. And the ones who win financially aren't always the ones with the biggest salaries. They're the ones with the clearest strategies. They don't chase lifestyle, they build freedom. You can't manage your money if you're constantly chasing validation through what you buy. That kind of spending is emotional, impulsive, and temporary. It feels good in the moment, a new outfit, a flashy gadget, a lavish dinner, but it slowly erodes the one thing money is truly meant to give: options. If your spending habits are built around impressing others or escaping reality, your future is paying for your present. That's not power, that's prison, and yet this is how many people live, paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, pretending everything's fine while silently carrying the weight of financial chaos. Managing your money requires discipline, and discipline isn't always comfortable. It means saying no when everyone else is saying yes. It means passing on the weekend splurge so you can fund the life you actually want 5 years from now. It's not sexy. No one celebrates restraint. But the results, they're undeniable. Financial discipline creates space. Space to think, space to breathe, space to walk away from people, jobs, and situations that no longer serve you. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy control. And control is everything. People often say, "I'm just not good with money," as if it's a personality trait. But money management is a skill. It can be learned, practiced, and mastered. You don't need to be a financial expert. You just need to be consistent. Know your income, know your expenses, know your goals, set a plan, stick to it. Adjust when life throws a curveball, but never abandon the mission. You're not just managing numbers, you're managing behavior. You're managing emotion, because money decisions are rarely about math, they're about mindset, and if you don't take control of your money, someone else will. Banks, credit card companies, retailers, they all have a strategy. Do you, or are you just reacting, living for the next sale, the next paycheck, the next dopamine hit disguised as a purchase? The world is designed to keep you consuming. You have to decide if you're going to play the game or master it. You don't need more stuff, you need more control, you need more purpose behind every dollar that leaves your hand. When you manage your money with clarity and intention, everything shifts. You stop feeling trapped. You stop making choices out of desperation. You start making moves from a place of power. Emergencies don't shake you. Opportunities don't scare you. You begin to see money as a tool, not a trophy. And when you stop needing to prove your worth through purchases, you start to find freedom in simplicity. The pressure fades, the noise quiets down, and you begin to build, not just for now, but for next year, for 10 years, for the version of yourself who's counting on you to make smart choices today. It's not about hoarding wealth or obsessing over every cent. It's about living with intention, spending with clarity, saving with purpose, investing with vision. You don't need to be rich to be in control. You just need to stop wasting what you already have. Managing your money is one of the purest expressions of self-respect. It shows the world that you are not ruled by impulse or fear. You know what you value, you know where you're headed, and your money, it moves in that direction, quietly, confidently, and relentlessly. Resilience through self-control is not about suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about standing firm when everything around you is pushing you to fold. It's the ability to bend without breaking, to feel the weight of the world and still choose discipline over impulse, focus over chaos, and strategy over reaction. Resilience isn't a gift. It's not reserved for a few chosen individuals. It's a muscle, and self-control is the weight that builds it. There will always be moments that test you, people who trigger you, circumstances that shake you, and setbacks that try to define you. What matters is not what happens, but how you respond. And the distance between stimulus and response, that's where self-control lives. That space, however small, is the birthplace of power. Most people live without ever realizing it exists. They react to life as it comes, emotionally, impulsively, destructively. But those who understand that they can choose their response in any moment, those are the ones who become unshakable. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. What you tolerate internally shapes what you experience externally. Life will hit hard through failure, betrayal, loss, disappointment. But resilience isn't about avoiding the hits. It's about deciding what you do when they come. Will you lash out, shut down, give up? Or will you breathe, hold the line, and keep moving? That choice is self-control in action. It is the quiet decision to hold yourself to a higher standard, even when no one's watching, even when it would be easier to blame someone or something else. Self-control doesn't mean you don't feel anger, sadness, frustration, or fear. It means you don't let those emotions make decisions for you. It means allowing space for them, processing them, and then choosing behavior that aligns with your values, not your moods. That's a skill, that's emotional maturity, and that maturity is what resilience feeds on. Because storms are coming whether you're ready or not. But when your internal world is grounded, no external event can shake you for long. Resilient people are not superhuman. They are simply better at delaying gratification. They are better at walking away from the temporary high in pursuit of a long-term win. They understand that feelings are fleeting, but consequences last. Self-control lets you respond with intention rather than regret. It keeps you from saying what you'll wish you hadn't. It helps you make decisions your future self will thank you for. And when life feels unfair, when everything seems to be stacked against you, it is your self-control that allows you to keep showing up, even if your pace slows down. It's not always about speed, it's about direction. One of the most powerful ways self-control builds resilience is by helping you manage your energy. You learn where to direct your attention and, just as importantly, what to walk away from. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every opinion deserves your response. Not every challenge requires a meltdown. Self-control protects your peace. It keeps you from being dragged into pointless conflict or emotional fatigue. And when you preserve your energy, you extend your endurance. That's what resilience needs, energy that isn't constantly drained by reaction. In today's world, distraction and dysfunction are everywhere. People lose focus quickly, lash out often, and spiral when things don't go their way. But the ones who can regulate themselves, the ones who can stay calm under pressure and still make clear decisions, those are the people who rise. They may fall, but they don't stay down. They don't drown in emotion. They don't self-destruct. They reset, they recover, and they do it with quiet strength. It's easy to look composed when everything's going well. It's much harder when life tests you. That's when resilience either shows up or it doesn't. And the only way it will show up is if it's been trained. Every moment you choose to pause instead of panic, to speak with intention instead of attack, to act with purpose instead of pettiness, you are building the kind of strength that doesn't shout but cannot be shaken. Self-control is not about restriction. It's about liberation. The freedom to rise above your environment, your emotion, and your old habits. It is the foundation for resilience because it ensures that when everything around you is falling apart, you won't be. You'll be steady, you'll be deliberate, and more than anything, you'll still be moving forward. Discipline is the silent weapon that separates those who dream from those who do. It doesn't make noise, it doesn't ask for applause, and it doesn't seek validation. It moves quietly, consistently, and relentlessly. Discipline shows up when motivation has left the room. It doesn't care how you feel, it cares that you follow through. While others are waiting for the perfect moment, the right mood, or a burst of inspiration, discipline is already at work, grinding, building, and executing. In a world that glorifies instant gratification and quick wins, discipline becomes your edge. It's not flashy, but it's effective. It doesn't seduce, it delivers. Anyone can start something when they're excited. Anyone can make promises in the heat of ambition. But it's the one who keeps showing up, who keeps pushing, who keeps choosing the hard path when no one's watching. That's the one who wins. Not because they're better, but because they're consistent. They've trained themselves to act beyond emotion, beyond excuses, beyond comfort. Discipline is what gets you up early when your bed is warm. It's what keeps you working when the results aren't showing yet. It's what makes you say no to distractions, to indulgences, to the easy way out. It's the quiet voice in your head that says, not yet, keep going, stay focused. Most people ignore that voice. They let their moods lead them. They chase temporary highs and wonder why their life doesn't change. But discipline doesn't chase feelings. It builds foundations. It stacks effort day by day, brick by brick, until momentum takes over. Without discipline, talent wastes away. Without discipline, intelligence stays average. Without discipline, vision becomes a fantasy, because no matter how skilled or passionate you are, if you can't control your time, your focus, your impulses, you will be ruled by them. You'll be at the mercy of your own inconsistencies. But when you live with discipline, everything changes. You stop depending on willpower and start relying on structure. You design your life instead of reacting to it. And discipline isn't just about habits or routines. It's about identity. It's about who you believe you are and what you expect from yourself. You stop negotiating with your goals. You don't ask, do I feel like doing this today? You tell yourself, this is who I am and this is what I do. That mindset is unshakable. It doesn't need external approval because it runs on internal alignment. It's not about punishment or pressure, it's about commitment. A quiet, steady commitment to becoming your strongest, most capable self. People think discipline is rigid, but the truth is, it gives you freedom. When you control your actions, you control your outcomes. You don't fear failure. You learn from it. You don't wait for opportunity. You prepare for it. You create space for growth, peace, and progress. It may be hard in the moment, but it makes life easier in the long run. Undisciplined people suffer constantly, from chaos, from regret, from unmet potential. Disciplined people suffer briefly, from the effort required to rise above the average. Every time you do what needs to be done, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, you strengthen your ability to lead yourself. And that is the most powerful leadership of all. Self-leadership, no title, no audience, just you versus you. That battle defines everything else, because if you can win that war, no external force can break you. Discipline is your defense against distraction, against doubt, against delay. It keeps you moving when your environment says stop. It keeps you locked in when others drift off course. There are no shortcuts with discipline. No hacks, just repetition, commitment, and delayed gratification. The work is often boring. The progress can feel invisible. But suddenly, one day, the compound effect shows up. You've built something others can't replicate. Not because they're not capable, but because they weren't consistent. And that's what discipline does. It rewards you in ways that are invisible at first and undeniable later. When others are overwhelmed, you stay composed. When others fold under pressure, you rise, not because it's easy, but because you trained for it. Day after day, choice after choice, you became stronger, sharper, and more focused. That's the power of the silent weapon. It doesn't roar, it endures, and that endurance, it becomes unstoppable. Confidence is earned, not given. It's not something someone can hand to you or something you can fake for long. It's not a performance or a mask you wear to look strong. It's the result of consistent, intentional work done behind the scenes. Confidence is what shows up when you've done the hard things over and over, even when it wasn't convenient or comfortable. It's not a feeling that comes before action. It's what's built from the repetition of showing up, failing, learning, adjusting, and doing it all again. You don't think your way into confidence. You earn your way into it through effort, discipline, and self-respect. Too often, people wait to feel confident before they take a step forward. They wait to feel ready, worthy, or qualified. But that's not how it works. You don't wait for permission to believe in yourself. You prove to yourself that you can handle what's in front of you. Confidence isn't born from hype, it's born from honesty. From doing the work when no one is watching, from overcoming the voice in your head that says, you can't. Every time you push through doubt, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming, and enough of those votes. They add up to quiet, unshakable belief. Real confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself, not the big, dramatic ones, the daily, small ones that seem insignificant. Waking up when you said you would. completing the task you wanted to avoid, showing up when you'd rather make an excuse. Each of these moments is a brick in the foundation of who you are, and confidence grows when that foundation is strong, not built on words but on action. Because if you don't trust yourself to follow through, how can you expect to feel certain when it counts? There is nothing more powerful than someone who has earned their confidence through experience. They don't need to talk about it. They don't need to prove anything. They walk into a room with presence not because they've never been insecure, but because they've faced their fears repeatedly and chose courage anyway. They didn't run from discomfort. They trained in it. That's what builds confidence that lasts. Not comfort, not praise, not perfection, but struggle. Adversity is where confidence is born, because when you've walked through fire and come out stronger, you stop questioning if you're enough. You already know. People often confuse arrogance with confidence, but they're not the same. Arrogance is loud because it's fragile. It needs to be seen, validated, and fed constantly. Confidence is quiet because it's grounded. It doesn't need external approval. It's built from internal evidence. When you've done the reps, faced the setbacks, and kept moving anyway, you don't have to convince anyone of who you are. You live it. You breathe it, and people feel it even if you never say a word. Confidence also requires ownership. You don't get to grow if you're constantly blaming others for where you are. You earn confidence by taking responsibility for your life, for your choices, your mistakes, your progress. That doesn't mean being perfect. It means being accountable. When you take ownership, you take back your power. You're no longer waiting to be saved or discovered or picked. You become the one driving your own growth, and the more ownership you take, the more control you feel, and control breeds confidence. You also earn confidence by doing things that scare you, that stretch you, that push you past your edge. Playing it safe doesn't build anything but regret. Growth lives in the uncomfortable. The more you test yourself, the more you expand your capacity. You realize you can handle more than you thought. You stop seeing fear as a stop sign and start seeing it as a green light. And over time, the fear doesn't go away, but it loses its grip, because you've proven over and over that you can move anyway. That movement, that decision to act in the face of doubt, is what unlocks confidence. The truth is, you don't need to be the smartest, the most talented, or the most experienced. You just need to outlast the excuses and keep showing up. Consistency over time is what builds belief. You build your confidence by stacking wins, even small ones, and when you fall, and you will, you rebuild by getting back up. That's where real confidence lives. Not in perfection, but in resilience, in your ability to recover, reset, and recommit. So when you see someone who walks with certainty, understand this. It wasn't given to them. They earned it through pain, through practice, through relentless self-discipline, and so can you. Confidence isn't out there waiting for you. It's built with every step you take toward becoming who you were meant to be.